Yo, what's going on? This is Mike, and I am the Sports Dope. You can find me on Twitter at that Sports Dope. Instagram is the same name. If you happen to come across this on YouTube and you were looking to listen to it on iTunes because you don't want to see my stupid face, then you go to mindsofmike.com/the Sports Dope. There you'll find a link to the iTunes feed. And then you can download the podcast, rate, review, blah, 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 all that bullshit. If for some reason you found this on iTunes and you want to look at my stupid face, mindsofmike.com/the Sports Dope. You'll see a YouTube link there. You go there, boom, looking at my stupid face and listening to the dumb shit that I say, and overall just enjoying the time spent together, me blabbering at my desk at 11 o'clock at night on a Tuesday about NFL stuff, and you at your desk or driving in your car, or me personally, because I listen to it just to fucking cringe at myself and whatever while I'm driving to work. And that's always an awkward thing. I got to do it in the morning. I'm half asleep anyway, doing fucking 80. Anyway, so what we're gonna do today, do some NFL picks. It's Tuesday night, a little bit earlier than I usually do, but there were some totals that I liked, and I wanted to make sure I got that information out to all 6 people listening in enough time so you can catch these numbers. And also, if you're like me and sometimes you're looking for what I like to call the sweet spot, what the professionals call middling, you catch one of these numbers and it shoots, like 3 or 4 numbers, you bet it the other way. Maybe you catch the middle. At that point, you're risking 10% to win 200%, Bet $100. You're not going to lose both, right? So you're risking $10 for $200. But that's up to you. However you want to play that, that's your business, right? So what we're going to do real quick, recap last week, dive into that. Started off with the Thursday teaser. You know what? I'm going to call it. It's fucking dead. I'm done with it. My friend texted me during the Thursday night game and was like, dude, just fucking end it. You're right. I'm ending it. You'll see why. Not really gonna end it, but you'll see why when we talk about next week's games, this week's games, whatever you want to call it. But the Thursday teaser last week, home team in the under. Once again, I did it for like 4 fucking weeks in a row. That was very good for me last year. I remember it being very good, and 4 weeks in a row, just nothing. So we had Denver +9, under 54.5. Pat Mahomes went out, and Denver just still couldn't do it. It was almost like they chalked that game up as a loss going into the week. Short week. I know we're at home. We don't give a fuck. Forget our fans. We don't care that they paid good money to sit in our high school stadium, because I think it's just tinfoil. Just big. From what I remember, although I was very drunk in that stadium, so don't take my word for it. But I just remember it being like a big high school stadium. Like, it wasn't even individual seats. It was just like benches with numbers on them. And I remember being drunk and standing on those benches because for some reason the Giants, who were 14-point underdogs, were winning. And somebody talked shit to me on the way in. So I was like, man, fuck these guys. But anyway, enough about that. So Denver, terrible. Pat Mahomes went out, dislocated knee. His knee was like on backwards or some shit. He's going to be out for like 2 or 3 weeks, maybe even a few weeks more. Depending, but I did hear some chatter already that he's a mutant and he might be back in a week or 2. So God bless him. Good for you. Good to be young. And I'm glad, I'm glad that he's an exciting player. He's good. I don't like betting on him because he's usually like a 2-3 touchdown fucking favorite, but he's fun to watch and he's fun to have in fantasy and stuff like that. So anyway, Thursday teaser, terrible. But we did good. Overall, we did okay. The 2 teasers lost, which was fucking annoying. Both of the teasers lost. And Detroit, man, that sucked. Dude, because we were right there. We were there like all game. And then all of a sudden, it just, boom, at the end, gross. Washington covered, even though they didn't, Philly didn't cover either. So fuck that. That teaser was a piece of shit to begin with. All right. For some reason, I went to recording this thinking that Detroit was the only leg that lost, but then I saw Philly +9. I was like, oh, look at me being a fucking moron. Anyway, yeah, so the teaser was dog shit. Both teasers dog shit. Oh, I got the baseball game on. I got not Houston. I got Washington and the under. The under already lost 5-3. Houston just got the bases loaded. If I could at least fucking hang on with these Nationals, I'll be plus money for that. One with the Raptors. Did some NBA picks. Not going to do it too frequently because, it's a pretty difficult undertaking, especially for an old man who wakes up at 5:30 every day, with how quickly the lines come out. But anyway, back to this shit. But look out for NBA stuff. I already did a preseason one and, some picks for Wednesday night. But yeah, so the other teaser lost. Thursday teaser lost. The two locks, big time locks, love both of them. The Rams and the Pats, both of those guys dominated this week. And I also said to go with Miami, plus 17, and the over. Both of those, nailed them. And god damn it, I can't win a fucking bet on the Giants. I thought that they were going to fucking come out of this week, long rest, coming against the... I don't want to call... the Cardinals' defense was better. Maybe Patrick Peterson coming back gave him a boost. I don't know. Should have taken that into consideration. I'm just done betting on the Giants. I can't get a gauge on them. I'm done betting on them as a side, I'll say. I'm done betting on them as a side. But, yeah, so the rest of the games this week, we had... we went with... Whoops. Look at the wrong sheet now. Pulled up the wrong thing. Give me 1 second. Yeah, so there we are. Okay, so Kansas City, we took them. Oh, no, wait, no. We took Denver. That was a loss. Oakland, man, that was a tough game. When Derek Carr fumbled out of the end zone, that just fucking ruined the whole mojo for that whole team. Just did not work out. That was a loss. Miami was a win. The Rams were a win. Detroit did not. I think it just took I don't want to say it, but I almost feel like Kirk Cousins is almost for real. I don't want to believe it, but he's looked very good. We'll talk about this week. But yeah, Lions didn't live up to it. They traded who'd they trade? Quandre Diggs today? Their safety? Why are you doing that? You're still in it. Fucking idiots. God, what is going on over there? Houston, we took 2. That didn't work out, but, we didn't bet on it. I just said that was what it was. Giants obviously didn't work out. Washington, that won. Jacksonville won. Chargers, man, that was a fucking bad beat if you bet on that game. That dude was totally in the end zone the first time. I don't care. How do you turn it over? And then the fumble. Just a gross end to that game. Chicago was thinking, hey, the Saints got to lose sometime. But nope. No, they don't. And they can beat the shit out of the Bears, too. Not only do they not lose, they beat the shit out of the Bears. The Bears, I think you could stick a fork in them. They're pretty much done, I think, this year. They're out of it for the division already. You got nothing. We took Baltimore. We didn't bet on it, but we should have. Took Philly. We teased that, and that was fucking terrible. Actually, I wound up taking the Cowboys at night. Cowboys in the under. Ended Sunday pretty decently. I should have tweeted it out, but I was just, I was in recovery from Saturday night and laying on the couch, just barely lifting a finger to look at my fantasy teams. But, and then the last game was the Patriots on Monday night. Just beat the shit out of Sam Darnold. He's out there seeing ghosts, and just terrible showing by the Jets. Terrible. And so many people were on the Jets. It's almost so many people were, and it was such the wrong side. I almost feel like, some of these people are just paid by the fucking casinos or something to just go out there and say, oh, it's a good spot for whoever. And then I don't know. I was just shocked at the amount of people that were on the Jets. Shocked with under a 10-point spread. Dude, they didn't, just because they beat the Cowboys. Everybody was thinking the Cowboys were dog shit. So I don't understand. Just because if a dog shit team goes on the road and gets beat by another mediocre dog shit-ish team, how do you, I don't know, all of a sudden bump them up? It didn't make sense to me. I thought this line was supposed to be a little bit bigger. I thought it was going to be on the other side of 10, and once I saw it under 10, I was like, give me that. Give me the money. All right, let's talk about this shit. All right, so we're diving in. Thursday night, first game. Oh, shit, my thing went out. Let me turn it back on. 1 second. All right, there we are. First game on the slate, Thursday night. Washington goes to Minnesota, and everybody's talking about how this is a revenge game for Kirk Cousins. I think it's a revenge game for Case Keenum, too. I also think there's a little Adrian Peterson factor in there. So if he gets the stick out of his ass and plays, fuck, he could be a force to be reckoned with, right? He's still got it somehow. Him and Frank Gore, two dudes born in fucking like 78, still out there churning their legs somehow. I don't get it. But yeah, they're like the only NFL players that aren't kickers that are my age. Frank Gore and Adrian Peterson. And somehow they're still just taking abuse and putting up numbers. This is what I like for this game, right? I like the over. 42. It started at 40, got bet up to 42 already. I jumped on it at 42. Look, I think this thing could go higher. I think Case Keenum, he knows where the holes in his defense are. He knows what he can do. And he's got a decent enough receiving core. Terry McLaurin is very good. And he's fast, and he can beat Xavier Rhodes. I understand Xavier Rhodes is big and bruising, but he can get there. Adrian Peterson could run the ball down their throats, get close to the end zone, and just pound it in. Look, Paul Richardson's a quality receiver. And look, Thielen's a little bit banged up too. So you're going to see a lot of Dalvin Cook, and Dalvin Cook is going to run all over the place. Right? The Redskins can't stop the run. Especially, Dalvin Cook is easily, so far, halfway through the season, just about the best runner in the NFL. It's not even a question. Or maybe McCaffrey. Him or McCaffrey, top two, on a separate tier even. So, look, I like the over in this game. I think there's going to be decent amount of points scored. I think the line is a little too close for comfort, but I think this could be something like because Kirk Cousins is going to want to show up the Redskins. Absolutely. So even if they're up, I think he's going to keep pounding away. So if they get into the 30s and the Redskins get to like 17, you're easily covering this. Easily. So look, I like it. Give me 42 on the over. Try and grab that now. I think it's still going up. Let's see. Next up on the slate, I'm just going in time order this time, because I forgot my normal format of not talking about the betting games. But anyway, because I wanted to open with Thursday. So we'll just go through. Seattle's going to Atlanta. We're not even sure who the quarterback is. Line opened at 3. It's at 3.5 right now. I'm taking Seattle. I'm not betting on this game. If Matt Ryan's not playing, I expect that line to shoot up. And you know what? Even if he is, he's a little hobbled. And Atlanta just got the shit beat out of him. Like, they've gotten beaten every week. Like, this isn't like, it's almost not going to turn itself around. Some teams you're like, oh, they're going to win one week, lose, win, back and forth, and you got to just kind of figure it out. No, Atlanta just loses. And, like, Seattle, they have playoff aspirations. They had a little bit of a road bump or a speed bump or whatever you want to call it, a hiccup, this weekend when Baltimore came to town. So you don't think that they're looking to, beat the shit out of somebody themselves? They could absolutely do that. But you know what? I'm just staying away from it. If I change my mind, I will definitely tweet something out, because talking about it makes me want to put money on Seattle, just thinking about how bad Atlanta is. And I think Seattle is a good team. They're not as good, coaching wise and stuff like that. Everybody knows Pete Carroll, but guess what? He doesn't do the right thing a lot. So, but oh my God, Quinn on the other side, that guy's terrible himself. And it doesn't matter. Russell Wilson will find a way to shred the Atlanta defense. I kind of like Seattle. Fuck. No, I'm leaving it. I already got enough picks this week. And basketball's starting. I got to save some of that bankroll. We'll see. Maybe if we killed basketball during the week, I'll throw some shit on Twitter. And we'll take Seattle also. All right, so Seattle's a maybe. We'll throw Seattle in the maybe column right here, 3.5. Philly goes to Buffalo. This game I want nothing to do with. Buffalo hasn't looked super great. They've just been beating teams with their defense for the most part. Philly, they have looked worse than super great. They have just looked bad, if you want to say that. Like, not good at all. On defense, especially. But on offense, too, which is a little shocking, right? Wentz not looking Wentsy. He's getting a little Wentsy in the pocket. It hasn't been looking good at all. So, yeah, coming off of a big beatdown like that, you expect a team like the Eagles to bounce back, a team with a good coach and a solid foundation and a good culture to bounce back. But I don't know that. The team might just be bad this year. And Buffalo might just be a 5-1 team. Or they're going to go back to being the Eagles and the Bills that we all fucking know, and the Eagles are going to beat them. And so, you know what? I'm just staying away from this game. Don't want anything to do with it. The over-under is 43, up from 41. Again, not a fan. Just staying away from that. Another game coming up. We got the Chargers from Los Angeles, formerly of San Diego. They're going to the Bears. This number started at 6, went down to 4. Chicago laying the points. Over-under 40 points. I don't like anything to do with this. If I had to pick, I'm taking the Chargers. Oh, I didn't say it before, but if I had to pick the previous game, I'm taking the Eagles. I want to see the Bills beat more people before I believe in them against former, recent Super Bowl winners and shit. That have similar teams. Anyway, though, back to Chicago. Look, I am not a fan of theirs. The Chargers are terrible too. I can see this game going anyway, so I'm staying away from it. Absolutely want nothing to do with it. Next game I have here on my little spreadsheet. Fucking Giants. Giants are going to Detroit. Giants broke my heart last week. Daniel Dimes is looking more like Daniel Pennies. I don't want anything to do with betting their sides anymore for at least a week or two. Then maybe I'll reconsider it. But what I do like is the total of this game. It's at 49.5, up from 48.5. I like Detroit to be easily putting up points on this Giants defense. And you know what? Kerryon Johnson's out. I think that's okay. I think that is okay because that means Matthew Stafford's going to throw the ball. And he's got a ton of people he can throw the ball to. And the Giants secondary is not good. Not good. So, and I also think that the Giants, they're going to get a fucking earful from Shermer during the week. They're going to go out there, they're going to practice hard, and they're going to put up some points. I definitely think they have it in them to put up some points. Ingram coming back. They came back, maybe they didn't practice fully all week. So, look, if you come off like a 4 or 5 week absence and you don't practice fully, and then you get stuck in the game, like that's not like tweaking your ankle 1 week, not practicing a little bit, and then playing that game. You're not like in the mix still. Like you're disconnected. You've had weeks off. You got to practice fully. So they're going to practice fully this week, all of them. And then I think they'll be able to put on a better offensive show. But do I know anything about who's going to win or the number? No, I don't. If I had to pick, Detroit -7. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I say give me the Giants and the points, but I'm not betting on that. I am betting on the over. Give me the over. Next game on the sheet, we got the Tampa Bay Bucks. They're going to Tennessee, face the Titans. Titans here, -2.5. Last time we saw Tampa Bay, they were getting smoked in London. And I mean smoked. And Jameis was looking like an asshole. Just was not a pretty scene. Bruce Arians, I expect him to have gotten into their ass. If they had vacations and shit planned for the bye week, I bet he canceled them. I don't know what to expect this week, so I'm staying away from it. But if you ask me, I think Tampa Bay is going to cover and probably win outright. That's just me. But I don't know. Tannehill looked decent last week. Tannehill's definitely a step up from Mariota. I don't know. Staying away from it. But if you had to gun to my head, I'm taking Tampa Bay here. London. We're going to London. We're going with the Bengals and the Rams. The Rams, they had a good travel schedule. I dropped a pencil. Sorry for that noise. The Rams, they stayed in Atlanta after absolutely waxing the Falcons. They stayed in Atlanta, and they're going to head over to London from the East Coast. They don't have to do this weird cross-country thing. Smart move. I like a good travel plan. I like a good team that's coming off a fresh beatdown, that's got a fresh new vibe because of a fresh new cornerback that's going to just help solidify the defense a little bit. Defense that's going to not let Andy Dalton and those orange fucking Bengals do anything at all against them. Give me the Rams minus 13. Yeah, this is going to be probably like a 31-3 game, I think. I just think the Bengals are just toast. It's not looking good. The Rams have newfound life. The Atlanta Falcons defense is what invigorates these people. You play them, and then all of a sudden you are just boom. You are at full salute, just excited to play football again because you're like, oh shit, scoring touchdowns and beating the shit out of people is fun. And guess what? They could do that again against the Bengals. They get to do it in a foreign country and then go out and drink pints at fucking Piccadilly Circus. Have a bunch of jerk-off fucking Brits out there singing Wembley in the fucking stadium. Give me the fucking Rams, minus 13. God, that was too many curses. Too much cursing. I got to cut that down a little bit. Not like I'm trying to stop it completely. It's not, but still, it's just, I don't know, too much. Next up, Arizona goes to the Saints. Lines open at 7.5, currently 9.5 in favor of the Saints. Now, I'm staying away from this. If this gets above 10, though, I'm jumping in on Arizona. If it gets above 10, you can give me you find me a 10.5 out there somewhere, I am jumping in on Arizona. I just wrote that down in my little fucking notebook. But yeah, currently staying away. Jets, they're going to Jacksonville. Line opened at 4.5, but after the Jets just threw up and saw fucking ghosts all night on Monday, that line moved to 6 because everybody realized, oh, the Jets are garbage again. I expect them to have a decent bounce back this week. Staying away from this game. I like and hope Minshew pulls this one out, though. But, yeah, give me the Jags. No real bet, though. Next up, Carolina going to San Fran. Look, Carolina coming off a bye. Big win in London. They're feeling themselves. San Fran, undefeated still, coming off like the most fun football game you could have. Just a giant, mess in the rain, winning that, just having a good time. You know what happens, though, when you get all soggy and wet like that? You get a little sick. You get a little under the weather. And then you hop on a flight for 6 hours. Air conditioned. Everything's, everybody's all breathing together. Look, I think that Carolina is a live dog in this game. And I'm taking them as my dog of the week. Give me the Carolina money line, plus 210. I like Kyle Allen to go in there. He's going to sling the rock a little bit. They're going to scheme kick Christian McCaffrey, get some big runs, big pass plays to him, short passes, long runs. That's their formula. And San Fran's offense hasn't really impressed. They literally just traded for Emmanuel Sanders today. Not impressed. Still not impressed. So, you know what? I'll tell you what. Give me the Carolina on the money line, plus 210. It's my dog of the week right there. Next up, Cleveland going to New England. Line open 11.5, moved to 13. I want nothing to do with this. If it hits 14, you might find me on Cleveland. But I'll tweet that out if it happens. But nah, for now, don't like any looks in this. New England fresh off beating the shit out of the Jets. I think everybody just got nervous for a second because the Pats Patriots. I couldn't say that right. They didn't look fantastic in Buffalo, but Buffalo's got like the top 3 defense. Buffalo's got a top 3 defense, so you know what? I'll let the Patriots look like shit against them, and guess what? Still pull out a win. But they just dominated the Jets. Their defense, how many turnovers are they gonna have against Baker Mayfield if they did that to Sam Darnold? They could have a very similar game. Just constantly picking the ball out of the air, stripping, fumbles, all that stuff. I think New England could definitely pull it out. But Cleveland coming off a bye, I'm not feeling it. Staying away. Rode my New England train last week to a victory, and I will just let that lie. All right, let's see. All right, I'm going to go to Monday night. I'm riding this train again. I bought my ticket already. I got the slip in my pocket, and it says Miami. I'm taking the Miami train again. Yo, this Pittsburgh team, they have no business being this big of a favorite when they're down to their second string quarterback with a mediocre defense and a running game that hasn't shown up yet this year. One receiver. Like, yo, I don't... 14.5 points. It opened at 16.5. Bet down to 14.5. And I'll tell you what, I am not going to let that get by me. Give me Miami again, 14.5. I like Fitzpatrick. Right? He's good. He's not good, but he's like good enough. And he plays like a complete fucking madman, diving for the end zone. He's going to make some mistakes, of course, but he's a gunslinger. He's like, I don't know, like a shitty Brett Favre, like a shittier Brett Favre. He's going to put up points. I almost kind of like the over 2. Sitting at 43. Because I think Pittsburgh could put up points also. Miami could be live here, right? Like Pittsburgh, they are not impressive. Not at all. Not at all. So give me Miami and the points. So this is what we got here for the straight bets. We got the Washington at Minnesota over. We've got the Giants and the Lions over. Rams minus 13 and Miami plus 14.5. Let's talk tees now. We've not done well in the teases in the last couple weeks. Right? This is where we turn things around. Turning things around, we're starting with Indy. Indy's hosting Denver. Opened at 4.5, went to 6. We're going to take Indy down to a pick'em. I think that at home, they're just going to beat up on Denver. Denver looked like an absolute lost team last week, and they got smoked. And not even by Patrick Mahomes. Like, if they would have even prepared a little bit, they probably would have been able to at least be competitive in that game, but they looked like absolute morons. Indy looked great against Houston last week. No reason to think they won't continue that against Denver. Let me bring Indy down to a pick'em. Next up, Houston. Just talked about them. They are fresh off a loss at Indy. They want to keep pace in the division. Oakland showed their true colors last week. They're a team that fumbles out of the end zone and then loses their minds and doesn't do anything for the rest of the game. It gets blown out. But I think they got a little more fight this week, so I don't really like the 6.5. But give me Houston down to -0.5, and we'll put that right in the tees. We'll slide it right next to Indy. Couple teams that played last week. They probably don't want to stand next to each other, but they're going to have to. And then, oh my God, just hit a fucking double off the wall. And so now the Astros coming back, 5-4. I was just talking about Houston, 5-4. All right. Who's that, George Springer again? This guy only shows up in the playoffs. I had him in fantasy, does nothing. Like, just average. Anyway, last up in the tees, we already have Indy and Houston standing next to each other, not liking each other because they just played last week, so they're still a little bitter. So what we're going to do, we're going to separate them. We're going to slide the Packers in. So the Packers going to Kansas City. Still got Matt Moore as the quarterback. If it was I don't like him on the road. Like, the number's still pretty big. 4.5. You give me 3.5. I'm still taking that. 4.5. I don't know. I start getting a little dicey. I start worrying. But yo, I'm gonna tease them to +1.5. Cover me for any weird, field goal 1 point losses that they might have at the end of this game. But look, people like, I also like the over kinda now that I'm looking at it, and now that I'm thinking about it. Because Matt Moore, Andy Reid's going to give him a chance to be successful, right? Andy Reid is a good coach. He's a good coach for quarterbacks. Matt Moore is not a terrible option. Right? He's kind of like a journeyman type of guy, been around the league. But, hey, he put the ball right in Tyreek Hill's hands like 40 yards down the field last week with no prep. Now you give him a week of prep. Not even a week of prep, more than a week of prep. 10 days prep. They play Thursday, long week, long rest. Not even rest for Matt Moore. He's prepping. Lots of prep. I think Green Bay obviously wins. Because Green Bay wants to stay ahead about the Vikings. They know they're coming. So they need this win. Kansas City, they would like it. But I think they got easier ones they're eyeing down the schedule a little bit. So give me Green Bay and the tees. And, I'm going to write that down too about the Green Bay over. And maybe we'll talk about that Sunday. Okay, maybe we'll stay tuned to the little Twitter account. We'll talk about that Sunday. All right. So let's recap real quick. We got Washington and Minnesota over. New York Giants, Detroit over. Rams minus 13. Miami plus 14.5. Dog is Carolina. Oh, I forgot to say. I talked about it. Not a fan of Buffalo. Buffalo's the sucker bet of the week. I don't like Buffalo at all. Just staying away from it. Like the game I hate the most on the board. And people are betting Buffalo, but it's still such a fucking crapshoot. This too. I don't like it. Sucker bet of the week, Buffalo. Dog, Carolina. And here's the teaser. Indy, pick 'em. Houston, minus a half. Green Bay, plus 1.5. All right, let's get paid. Fuck the bookies. And we're out. Peace out. Thank you for listening. Oh, I'm Mike. I'm the Sports Dope. At that Sports Dope on Twitter and Instagram. mindsofmike.com/thesportsdope will get you to either iTunes or YouTube or anything else. So, thanks for listening and peace out. Let's get paid.